What's going on, mixers? It's me, Lucas LeConte, back here again. We're going to be checking out a really cool plugin from Nureal DSP called Parallax, and today we're going to be all about the bass. I do have a tropical storm. It was a hurricane sitting over my state right now. It's a miracle I still have power, but that is not an excuse to get our mix on. So let's check out Parallax. Parallax is really cool because it's specifically made for bass. It encompasses a lot of different things all into one little plugin. So the interface, as you can see, is very similar to a lot of Neural's other plugins that they have with that, meaning that, you know, you have the input, your gate, you have your mode, your oversampling, you have your different presets right here, which we're going to check out in a little bit. And what's really cool about this plugin is it lets you affect the different distortions on the different bands of bass. And this is going to help us get that really good grindy sound that it helps the bass have a lot of character and it helps it cut through in the mix. So let's just hear what Parallax sounds like on the bass, just on its default setting. Let's see what that sounds like. Now, what we are going to be hearing is going to be from my EP. The song is going to be titled Loverman. Let's check it out. As we can already hear, it already has that nice, good, grindy characteristic. Let me just kind of show you my bass plugin that I'm running here. I have some reverb from the Slate Verb Classic. I have a track spacer, which track spacer helps with the bass. It helps whenever the bass, guitar, and kick are fighting over the same frequency. It makes the bass get out the way and it lets the kick come through. For a virtual mix rack, I have FG Stress on and I just have 750 boosted a little bit to help them gel with the guitars. Pro L2 just as a limiter sitting on there. Pro MB, this just helps me kind of clamp down on these different areas right here. So it's in the lower range so that way you don't get out of control. For the EQ, this is my general EQ that I start with on most basses. It doesn't always stay that way depending on how it's recorded. You do have an EQ in Parallax, but I'm not going to be using that today. I'll show you what it sounds like on a few of the different plugins, and I'll turn mine off, but I just prefer using Pro Q3. But you can use EQ in Parallax, which is awesome. You also have an IR loader in there too. I'm going to show you that. FabFilter Saturn is a plugin I used to use, but it looks like Parallax is going to completely replace it on my bass chamber. Saturn is kind of sort of the same thing. It's a saturator. It lets you, you know, mess with the low bands, and you have your crossover right here. It's at 556. And you can kind of affect the different levels, sort of like Parallax, but Parallax is way more flexible. So let's actually hear what the bass is going to sound like with Parallax completely off. As you can hear, Parallax makes a massive difference in the bass sound. Now let's go explore another cool area. This kind of brings me to the one thing I don't like about this plugin. I really like this plugin a lot, but this is what I don't like. You see up here, this little icon here, I'm guessing it's made to look like a speaker, but to me it kind of looks like a CD. That's what I thought it looked like. This kind of looks like an EQ graph. This is the IR section, by the way, which the IRs are made by ML Sound Lab. Miko over there is an awesome guy. His IRs are really great. So this is how you get to the IR section. I kind of wish this was like a cab or something and make it a little bit easier to get to. But anyway, you can pick through a lot of different things with the IR loader, and you can even load in your own. See, if you go, you can load custom IR right here. But you get plenty of different mics. You can get 57, 906, 421, 194, 160, or 121. You can blend them. It's just like in the other Nureal DSP plugins. And the IR loader baked into this plugin is really great. That's why, if you saw earlier, I have it at the top of my chain, because you want that cab signal running through everything, and then you want your other plugins. Just, you know, just like a real amp would be recorded. So what we're messing with today, I should have said this earlier, it's a DI. So the DI is basically just blank information coming from the bass, so you can do a lot of different things to manipulate to get yourself a good sound. The IRs play a very important part in shaping the bass sound, because you can also turn these off. Watch. Let me turn this back on and get some playing going. You can move them around. You can't really do that when you load your own IRs in. It's kind of, you know, because it's capturing that IR sound. But the loaded IRs that are in here are fantastic. I love them. I love them a lot. So let's go back to our little graph right here. And this is the part where if you pull on the actual graph, which having the graph's really nice. And I don't know if you noticed before, you see how it shows you the frequency in there? That is really cool because it lets you affect it. You can pull it around, you can jog it like this, and you have your different crossover bands. You can, you know, you can't exactly move it left. You can kind of move the high left to right, but the mid is locked in place, as you can see right here, which kind of makes sense. You can affect the lows. It's so flexible, which is cool. What I did when I was building my plugin, I literally just kind of listened, and I just jogged right here. I didn't even really look at the graphic EQ, which is weird because I use Pro Q 2 and 3, as you saw earlier. I use 3 now mainly, and as you can see, like when you jog it like this, it moves. But you know, just turning the knobs and just listening, it made things so easy, so easy. So let's check out real quick. Let's check out some of the presets. We have presets from some of the top bass and mixers and masters in the business. We have Ermin, who is a mastering god out of Australia. Let's check out his Sphere plugin really quick. As you can see, it engages the EQ. I'm gonna turn my EQ off and let's hear what this sounds like. That actually sounds really good. It sounds like a better default setting, if that makes any sense. Sounds like a more tighter one. Let's check out its 99 again. That one sounds really good. It doesn't have a lot of mids in it. It sounds really nice and clean. We have Henrik Oud. We have Forrester Saval. He is another guy out of Australia. Let's check out his Big Everything plugin. Excuse me, not plugin, his preset. See, he has grindcore. He has a bunch of different ones. We also have, John. We have Jacob. We have Kane Churko. He's a great producer. We have Mr. Killian Duarte. We have Mr. Nolly Get Good, formerly of Periphery. He does his own thing now, mixing and mastering. We have Mr. Orr, and we have Mr. Tom Doyle. Tom's one's really cool because his seems to be kind of a little less aggressive. Well, that was still kind of a little bit grindy, but his is really cool if you're looking for something non-metally, a little bit more laid back. Nolly's ones are his are really cool. His EQ is a little bit extreme, but I think he did that because he's just trying to do everything within the plugin and not actually use an outside EQ. Let's see what this sounds like. Cool thing about these presets is it gives you a kind of bass line to jump off of if you're kind of looking for a very particular sound, which is really cool because, of course, look, you can modify them and then you can come and you can save them as something different. You can call it Nolly Grind 3 if you want. You can definitely do that. Let's check out the one that I made. I just called it Lucas Bass. Turned off the EQ. It's very similar to the default setting because when I turned it on for the first time, I was like, oh man, this actually sounds really good. Let me turn my EQ back on right here. And I'm gonna turn Parallax off and let it play, and then I'll turn it on and let you hear what it sounds like. Like I said, the way that I got this, I was literally just turning the knobs. And another important thing is when you're dialing in your bass tone, what it sounds like outside of the mix, like by itself, can be vastly different than what it sounds like in the mix. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to turn on my guitars and I'm going to unsolo the bass. I did this kind of weird, but we'll be able to hear everything. There's gonna be everything in the full mix. So that is what my bass sounds like with Parallax, and I really like this plugin a lot. It's very powerful. I love the IR loader in it. That is so smart. It helps to shape the sound so much, because before, whenever I would have, loading up a DI, I would go grab another IR loader, slap that on there, load in my IRs. It's like boom, you have everything in here, and it comes up, by itself. It's already in here. It's already has a very kicking sound just from the default. And what I love about it too is that you can turn things on and off within the plugin itself. And another cool thing about it is it has a standalone application, so you can use it outside of the DAW, which is really cool again, because you can actually use it in the live setting if you want, which is also really cool. This plugin is fantastic, and it's kind of almost easy mode for bass, sort of. I know some guys are saying it, it replaced their super complicated 8 plugin, 9 plugin bass chain. It sort of did that for me, but it didn't at the same time. I kicked off a few of the other plugins that I have been using forever on my bass chain because I just wanted to do something different. I kicked that off before. I still have my limiter and my multi-band compressor. I know it seems excessive, but it works. It just works fine for me. I could technically probably kick off the Slate plugins if I wanted, but I'm just so used to how it sounds. I'm definitely gonna leave that in there. Track space is a little bit different. Parallax is powerful because it doesn't force you to split your bass signal. A lot of guys will do that. They'll split the bass signal. They'll have the lows on one side, they'll have the highs on the other side, and they'll bring them up and down. I did that once and I didn't like it because it was kind of confusing. This does that concept, but way better. And like I was showing you with Saturn, you have access to the mid distortion in here, which is really nice. And what I like about it too is this plugin's very simple. To dial in this preset right here, I literally put it on and I move the knobs around so I got it to sound good. It literally took me maybe 2 minutes, but I also know my chain really well too, so I know exactly what I was looking for. And you saw me, I was messing with the high level while I was playing the song, and that I did that because, by itself it sounds fine, but whenever you kick everything in a full mix, it it may or may not get buried. So I was jacking up the high level just a little bit, just so you can hear it. And I love how the bass has that nice, good grindiness right underneath everything, and it sounds really good, because the true mark of a really good producer and mixer and master is how well that they master the low end. And this plugin, it gets you there. It's sort of like a saturator type of plugin in a way, to give yourself some distortion, and it does a lot of what I really love about it too is you can turn things on and off. So you could technically use this on vocals. If you wanted, you could technically use this on keyboard. Do you want to, drive a little saturation in there? And like I said, which is cool, you can turn the IRs off if you want, or you can leave them on, depending on the context that you are using it in. Okay, guys, I might have rambled a little bit when we were going there. I hope this demo was really good and showing you how cool Parallax is. You can even use it on a real bass if you want to too. I saw some guys doing that. You can use it live. It has plenty of different applications. I just love how they hit every little mark with it. They consulted with some of the best in the industry, as you can see here from the artist presets. They also have some factory presets, some Ace of Hearts. I'm sure that's a Lemmy plugin. Let's check some of these out real quick. I haven't really messed with these. Let's check them out. This has to be my favorite preset setting of all time. Vibranium Sledgehammer. That's really cool. These factory presets are great. The artist presets are great. Neural knocked it out of the park with this plugin. I like it a lot. Like I said before, you know, I love every part of it. It's great. It really transformed my bass chain. It kind of just gave it that little extra kick that it was kind of been missing, and the plugin is fantastic. It's really easy to use, and I like it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a staple in my bass chain for the foreseeable future. So guys, that is going to wrap things up for Parallax. Let me know what you think about this plugin in the comments down below. Do you think it's cool? Let me know in the comments down below. And as for me, I'm going to have to be out.